guys, what's going on? It's Broken Nose Vlogs here. This video is going to be kind of a twofold. Firstly, I want to touch on my previous video, the Red Dragon Windseeker laptop cooler. The results that I posted showed that there was no real difference in terms of the cooling temperatures between like the Micro Center one, the Red Dragon one. But I'm starting to think that the laptop might be the problem in this situation. Why do I say that? Well, even after using Thermal Grizzly Duronaut, I am seeing temperatures spike up to 97 degrees Celsius on things as basic as startup. That's not normal, and this laptop wasn't doing this when I had first purchased it. Now granted, this laptop is 4 or 5 years old at this point. It's an MSI GF63 Thin, has a 10th gen i5 inside of it. So I'm wondering if maybe the results have been skewed because of that laptop cooling issue. I actually did decide to take the laptop apart one more time to see if there was something that I missed. Everything's properly secured. The thermal paste hasn't pumped out. I don't know what's going on. The fan that's inside the laptop also is on an aggressive curve, so it is spooling up quickly and to higher RPMs than what it would stock, and I'm still seeing these big jumps in temperatures. So that being said, I will probably revisit the Windseeker laptop cooler when I find an appropriate replacement for my laptop. That being said, I did get one video out of it. It was posted on my Broken Nose Gaming channel. I talked about the World of Tanks Reforged update that is incoming. I believe it released today. If you want to see any info on that, check out my gaming channel. But even then, just doing like OBS recording, I was seeing really high temps. So I don't think the Thermal Grizzly Duronaut is to blame, because I also took the time to repaste the Alienware Alpha R2 computer because I was becoming fairly critical about how the temperatures were getting on that particular computer as well. And lo and behold, it has dropped 10 plus degrees Celsius on the CPU and the GPU after using Thermal Grizzly Duronaut. So the thermal paste is not the issue, because I am seeing improvements on things like the Alienware Alpha R2. So I'm definitely leaning into the idea that it is the laptop. So if you did watch that video and I seemed a little unimpressed, now we know that there is a possibility that the results are a little bit skewed due to the high thermal issues that we're having with the MSI laptop. So like I said, I will probably revisit that video once I get a suitable laptop replacement. And when I do, I will for sure let you guys know what I decided to go with. But right now it's up in the air. I still have my big computer, you know, my main computer, but I still do want to have something that I can, you know, use not in here where it's really hot, because there are other rooms in this house that are a lot cooler. For those of you that don't know, and I'll kind of touch on this really quick, essentially I'm the caretaker to this house. It is my grandmother's house, my late grandmother's house. You can see some vlogs on my gaming channel that was concerning that. There was a long period of time where I didn't post anything because I was taking care of her 24/7. So I'm the caretaker to this house, and I generally don't really touch anything because things need to be divvied out and stuff like that. But with the passing of my aunt, that kind of also complicates things. So that's the reason why I'm still in the situation that I was in a year or so ago. And that's why I want a laptop, is because there are definitely much cooler and nicer rooms in this house to where during the summer, if I want to record or play games or, you know, do something for either of my channel, I will have a better place for it. The other thing I was going to talk about was I scored some really cheap, cool tech at Walmart of all places. Now, this was going to be for the laptop, and I did get to use it for one whole video. I wasn't able to do anything more than that because of what has happened, but I wanted to show you guys. I got a couple things that were fairly discounted, and I was actually really impressed by A, the price, and B, the performance. So what am I talking about? So right here we have two boxes that I picked up at my local Walmart. I have a HyperX Duocast USB microphone, and I have a HyperX Cloud 2 wired USB / 3.5 millimeter headset. These were already marked down prior. They were $40 for the microphone and about $39 for the headset. I looked at these online and tried to get like what MSRP should be, and they are higher than that. But I ended up getting both of these for $20 a piece. I got the microphone and the headset for $20 a piece, so $40 got me a complete, like, basically audio setup for my laptop, and then my laptop said, nuh-uh. But how cool is that? I got to play around with these a little bit, and I was going to bring them up here and just show you guys. Yeah, $20 a piece. What a steal. I have read some other posts on Facebook and things like that their local Walmarts have been ditching like 4 terabyte drives for $20, and Rival 3 wireless mice for $20. So overall, pretty good deal, and you know, that's really cool. So here's our mic and headset. Like I said, like the headset has a 3.5 millimeter jack that you could use direct plug-in, or you can use the attached USB DAC, and you can go ahead and plug that in like so. If you do decide to use the USB attachment, you get things like built-in virtual 7.1 surround sound. You can also adjust the volume on your mic and your headset, and you can also mute the headset right on this little handy control that comes with the USB attachment. So that's pretty cool. You also get a detachable microphone, so if you don't want to have the mic on here, you can take it off. It's a pretty solid mic. It's not super flimsy. It's stiff. It hasn't really, I've molded it once and it hasn't really changed. And you get 2 different sets of ear cups as well for the Cloud 2. You get velour and you get like leatherette. I decided to go with velour because I've had a lot of leatherette headsets, and I thought it would be interesting to try something different. So far I like them. They do get a little warm, but you know, it's not the end of the world. They're also very similar to my Black Sharks that I use on my main rig. They have this exposed wiring, though it is braided, and you also have metal for the frame that comes in and out. So I will say, compared to the previous headphones that I was using on my laptops, which were HyperX Cloud Stinger cores, which were a little bit more basic. The microphone wasn't detachable, things like that. I do like the Cloud 2s. These have obviously been superseded by, I believe, the Cloud 3s, so that's probably why these were so inexpensive. The only thing that I'm not a huge fan of is the retractable portion of your headsets. They're not very sturdy, as in they don't really stay in place, so like they'll close up on their own when you put them into storage pretty quick. But overall, I do like these headphones. I will say the sound is a little tinnier than the Cloud Stinger cores that I had been using, and definitely tinnier than my Razer Black Sharks. But you can adjust it via equalizer, I believe, in either Windows, or I think you can even download tuning software. I might be wrong about that, but I have eventually sort of felt out how I wanted my headphones to sound, and now they sound pretty good, so I am a big fan. And then our other item is the Duocast. Now, I have already put a pop filter on the front of it. It does not come with this. They're like $7 on Amazon. Compared to my Quadcast, which is what I use on my main computer, the build quality is a little lacking. Everything is plastic on this, so the stand, a mix of metal and plastic, but your real important parts up here are basically plastic. The base is metal. Your support ring that holds the microphone in place is plastic. This was the very last one at my store, and I picked it up, and I noticed in shipping, just in transit, I will show you guys a picture, but the plastic ring had snapped just in transit. So just from rough handling on the way to the Walmart or being put away at Walmart, the plastic support ring had snapped. So I ended up super gluing it back together. It is fine now. And then when it comes to the sort of shock mount compared to the Quadcast, I will say the Duocast is a lot more, well, you can see it's more supportive. The Quadcast is pretty tight and won't really move all this much. For me, it's kind of a 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. I try not to hit my mic all that much. I've even thought about maybe getting like an arm. I had an arm at one time for one of my other mics, but I ended up not using it. Both my Quadcast and my Duocast use the stands. The only other feature that this has that the Quadcast doesn't have is it has a RGB ring that you can also adjust using software. I just let it run RGB mode. Features that they both share: there is a gain adjustment, which on the Duocast is on the back, where on the Quadcast it's on the bottom. You can select 2 different modes. You can either do cardioid or omnidirectional, whereas the Quadcast has multiple options. You only get 2 on the Duocast. And you have the tap to mute on the top. The neat thing about the tap to mute on the top is you will know if it's muted because your ring will turn off. Very similarly to how the Quadcast's red LED, or if you have the fancier versions, RGB LED inside the microphone, will turn off when it's on mute. But I have tried both of these, I've used them both, and I will say for $20 a piece, this was a pretty good buy, and I think I kind of came out with a good score. The only downsides, like I said, were just sort of the frame on the Cloud 2s. They retract pretty easily, they don't hold their position, and then the obvious damage that was in transit when it came to the Duocast. The reason why I know it was in transit was the item was still factory sealed, nothing had been touched, it literally just looked like an impact mark from something hitting the box in a funky way. So it's unfortunate, but you know, I'll take slight damage for a very large discount when it comes to the Duocast microphone. So I just kind of wanted to throw this out there. If you guys are in the market for any of this stuff like mics, headsets, or any other PC equipment, double check your Walmarts. Where it's located might be different from store to store. The store that I picked these up at, they were in the clearance aisle, which is just where a local Walmart will generally dump all their clearance items, and it's just pick through and find what you want with yellow tags on it. I did go to another Walmart, and that Walmart did also have electronics on clearance, but they didn't have their equipment in the clearance area. They actually kept it in the electronics department and then just put it inside of a little sliding glass case. The sliding glass case was unlocked, so you could go through it, but it was right next to the register, so obviously they figured it'd be a better idea to keep some of this equipment closer to them so they can make sure that it was actually going out the door properly, I'm assuming. But yeah, so just kind of throwing this out there. Hopefully I can do some more like cheap or inexpensive equipment that I score from time to time, like I did on the previous channel. I remember I did some stuff at Micro Center, and I'll bring that over here. But I just kind of wanted to throw this out here and, you know, let you guys know, hey, check out your local Walmarts. And then also I did want to talk about the unfortunate retirement of my laptop. Like I said, hopefully we can find a suitable replacement so I can continue using my laptop for when it is too warm in other places of this house. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this informative if you're on the hunt for, you know, discounted tech, and I wish you the best of luck and hope that your local Walmart has something. And until I see you guys in the next video, take it easy. Bye-bye.